Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the marine rival to Luffy. So, as of chapter 1059, ever since Kobe has been abducted by the Blackbeard pirates, we as a community, me as a whole, me myself, I've been making videos about, involving Kobe here and there everywhere, and I feel like it's about time I address his position in the story of One Piece. So ever since Garp got introduced to the story, and we got to know that Garp used to go head to head with Roger, and then we got flashbacks, and with more evidences and more flashbacks coming of Garp and Roger's sort of interactions between each other and the way they were as rivals, as Marines and pirates, and especially after God Valley, everyone in the community was talking about Luffy's Marine rival because there's been two specific candidates that we've been juggling here and there with no sort of confirmation as to who it is, no sort of indication from Oda as to who it is. Now, the obvious answers seem to be Kobe, duh. But hold up. Let's talk about Roger and Gar for a moment. Roger is the king of the pirates. Garp became the hero of the Navy ever since he rescued celestial dragons from the God Valley. Yes, with the help of Roger, but no one needs to know about that. But the fact still stands, that Garp is one of the strongest Marines to exist, even now, who rivaled Roger. One of the only Marines that rivaled Roger head to head when he was at his prime. And when he was going to, conquering the Grand Lines, finding the One Piece, going to the New World, reading poneglyphs, Garp was the one that was able to go head to head with him. Even before that, these two were rivals ever since uh, Roger was known as an infamous pirate. So, with that being said, the dynamic they had, they were basically like Luffy and Kobe. Luffy and Kobe are arch nemesis. What I mean by that is they're supposed to go head to head because what they believe in is completely different. Luffy admires Kobe for, basically starting from ground up and becoming such a top dog in such a short time, and Kobe admires Luffy's determination, dream, and his willpower to get up to the top and become king of the pirates. Both of them admire each other. They're very good friends, sort of like Zoro and Luffy, but this time only in different spectrums. One following the dream of becoming an admiral in the navy, and one of them trying to become the king of the pirates. Roger and Garp were sort of the same thing. Garp, on the other hand, never wanted to become the admiral because, celestial dragon incidents and whatnot. But the fact still stands that both of them are fighting for two different things, but they're good friends and good rivals. Kobe promised Luffy that we would meet in the New World. That has yet to happen. Back in his lobby, when we got introduced to Garp, we got introduced to Garp and reintroduced to Kobe at the same time. Makes you think that Oda's probably playing with us. So my point is, the relationship that Garp and Roger had, that is the sort of relation we're looking for with Luffy and someone else in the Marines. So, where does the confusion come up? The confusion comes up to when we talk about who it actually is. Let's talk about the first candidate that have been popping into our heads until the end of Punk Hazard, Smoker. Smoker, the first Marine, or literally the first opponent before Crocodile. What do I mean Crocodile? The only opponent in East Blue being able to counter Luffy's Devil Fruit with, being able to stop Luffy even though both of them have Devil Fruits. He was the first Loge user introducing the story. He was the first Marine to basically catch Luffy red-handed, but just because of plot armor, Luffy survives. And Smoker's been catching up with Luffy ever since then in Alabasta, and then we move on to further stories. Even in, coming back to Punk Hazard was the last time they talked with each other, and they seem to come across each other quite frequently, whereas Kobe and Luffy don't even meet on, on a Marine and pirate relationship. When they meet, it's always uh, three interactions with Luffy and Coby that I can talk about. The first one being the time when Luffy saved Coby. That was when he wasn't a Marine. Second time that happened, it was in Annie's lobby, post Annie's lobby. It was Garp trying to meet his grandson, and Coby just happens to be there. So it's just pure coincidence that Coby came under Garp's wing, and, Garp went to see his grandchild, and Coby happens to be there to meet his best friend, or friend who is a pirate. Again, they're not meeting on Marine pirate terms. The next time that they meet are definitely on Marine pirate terms, but this time the goal was very different. Luffy had the goal to save Ace. He did not care whether or not Coby was there or anyone else. Smoker, Coby, did not matter to him. What mattered to him was, I need to get to the top so that I can rescue my brother. I don't care about rivals. This time the rivalry didn't matter, because Luffy had a further goal and Coby was just insignificant compared to what Luffy's goal was. Granted, Coby did amazing stuff in Marineford with Awakening Observation, that huge speech before Shanks came up and stopped Akainu and stopped the war. Yeah, it's great. It's everything is. I'm not saying that Coby was a bad character. I'm just saying, or a bad fighter. I'm just saying that his role in Marineford, when that happened, in terms of compared to Luffy's, was very insignificant. So with that being said, that was the last time they met, and we have yet to see them collide on a Marine and pirate level, like completely going head to head. So Smoker was the one that's been coming up with all sort of plans to basically catch up with the Straw Hats and then counter them and then stop their ways, trying to capture them, but it never seems to be the case. So again, and then with Smoker being defeated by Doflamingos very easily, in fact, and at this point, to be completely honest, I don't care what anyone says, Luffy is stronger than Smoker, and that's a fact. So it's definitely not Smoker, unless he's got this big power up that we have yet to know about. Smoker is not the Marine rival to Luffy. They don't have that friendly relationship that Roger and Garp had. They are on enemy terms, but they have mutual respect for each other. But that's not what I'm looking for. If you think about it, if Luffy has a kid, Luffy wouldn't entrust his kid to Smoker. No, he'd rather entrust it to Coby. Now, let's get to Coby. Coby has been great. When you think about it, the progression he's had ever since he met Luffy till now is mind-boggling for someone like him, with no devil fruit powers whatsoever, with no training, with just being a cabin boy, cannot even fight for himself. Now he's like a rear admiral or something. I can't remember positions. I'm so sorry. But he's above a captain. He's above a captain. So what I mean by that is his progression in the story from the base till now is enormous, and I can appreciate his character development. I can also appreciate his growth. But it's not quite as enough as Luffy's. Granted, Luffy had almost like 10 years to improve with his devil fruit abilities before he set out to sea in his blue. Like, Luffy was already, like, I'd say 10 times stronger than Coby when they initially met because of Luffy's previous training, past experience, fights, and whatever rigorous training schedule that Garp put him through, and he himself put himself through to master his devil fruit. On that perspective, Luffy did have the upper hand. But if you want to make Coby the rival, you'd have to choose wisely. You'd have to choose wisely to the point where you have to match up their skills in the same level, or else it doesn't even make sense. Because when you look at Garp and Roger, both of them have Conqueror's Haki, both of them used to go head to head with only Haki, and Coby has Haki, yeah, but Luffy's now here awakening advanced stuff, advanced Conquerors, advanced armament, even advanced observation. Maybe Coby has advanced observation. Coby might not need advanced Conquerors, he might not even have Conquerors, but he needs to have that advanced mastery of Haki that takes him to the next level in order to compete with Luffy. He has no devil fruit, he's only relying on his Haki. So far he's been doing great, but from the way it looks, he couldn't even handle Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock, granted, she's very strong, but Coby couldn't handle it. Coby couldn't beat him, or couldn't beat her. And that's sort of disappointing coming from so-called rival of Rufy's. So my point is, Coby isn't strong enough to become the rival, but what next? I feel like at the end of the story there has to be some sort of a parallel. I've said in the last video I made that it's entirely possible that Oda gets to repeat God Valley all over again, with Coby and Luffy teaming up against Blackbeard and beating him at Hachinosu. It's entirely possible that's the case. Maybe we have no idea about Kobe's true powers. We don't actually know much, but from what it looks, he doesn't have what it takes. Now I don't know what sort of scheme Oda's gonna pull up. It's entirely possible that he doesn't get to be the marine rival to Luffy's, but one thing's for certain is that he's building it up to be as though the Kobe's like a burden to everyone, and I don't think Coby wants to be that. Maybe that's the spark he needs. Maybe the fact that he's becoming a burden to the Marines, to Sword, gives him that motivation to go over the top. Maybe awaken conquerors, maybe do stuff. Considering he's had such an enormous growth throughout 2.5 years of the story, from nothing to this, it's entirely possible that from this point onward until the end of the story, he becomes the marine rival that Luffy needs to basically be his Garp. That's it for my video. All in all, what I want to put in summary is that Smoker is definitely not the one. It has to be Coby, but for Coby as he is right now, it's not gonna be enough. But it's entirely possible that if Luffy, by happen chance, happens to go to Hachinosu and rescue Coby, or try to rescue him and attack Blackbeard, entirely possible that Coby can awaken monstrous things even faster than Luffy did, become master at, advanced Hakis and faster than Luffy, and become his rival in a matter of day. That's it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.